Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to podcast reviewing Bismarck Paradox's Tuesday-Wednesday game. This is at the end of the first two very slow sessions due to lag and not sure if being an EU issue or just individual computer issues, but nonetheless welcome for those that are new, and I know there are a lot of new people to the server and new people to EU4 multiplayer in this game. Let me just give a quick overview of what we'll be doing. I'll go country by country, take a look at their position, basically commenting on how well or poorly the country is doing, maybe some predictions for the future, and I will try and take some time to look at the country management and try and offer bits of advice for those that are new. Please don't take any criticism personally. This is not the point. No, there are no deliberate personal attacks here. If I say you're doing something wrong, in the end, it's my opinion. Choose to accept it or not, but yeah, don't take anything personal if I am too critical. So I believe we will start with our westernmost country, and we will work our way east. So we start off with Portugal, who is actually doing pretty good on income for now. I noticed that he has gotten the gold mine in Tafalat currently. Is this not? Okay. So this is probably a bit of a mistake right here. You're only getting 1.5 income from your gold mine. As Portugal, you haven't stated it. So I think what you need to do is immediately state it, convert it, because that also reduces your goods produced. Goods produced is how much gold you get. Focus on reducing the autonomy as well. You can use your state edicts, either centralization or the conversion one, to speed that up. And then as soon as it is converted and autonomy is reduced, you can go ahead and increase that development on production to boost up your income. As for ideas, we're doing good old Explo expansion for Portugal. This is what you would expect, allied with Castile. Good and standard, making a lot of sense. Also has a good portion of West Africa with some other gold provinces, and these appear to be these are stated and you are converting them, so that is perfect. Probably want to press that autonomy button. I mean, unrest is meh, but more money is better. So you are starting to colonize Ivory Coast, and you do have this is not a colony up just yet. How many colonists do you have, or colonies? So you have just 2 colonists. Okay, I would think, generally you can go 1 or 2 over the limit depending on your income. You are, not a lot of money, so maybe just go 1 over. That's just an extra 2 ducats, I think. So I think that is simple enough to do. Only rivals Castile, so goodbye your power projection. Unfortunately, there's never that much that you can really say about Portugal. It looks like there's some border agreement in Morocco, and I actually expect this Portugal to be quite strong, being that there is currently no West African player. So you can expand in this area at your leisure. You also have Jolof as a vassal, which will soon not be one. Also may want to promote some of the cultures at some point. You can try and figure out just whichever is the biggest one as time goes on. And the next idea probably should be quality, I believe. And for naval warfare, naval morale is always the best thing. So naval ideas, I guess, also have that as well, but I think quality gives you overall more use. I don't think you'll ever be fighting Castile or any players for quite a while. England, the only other colonizer, is not doing too hot, so I think, yeah, this is very much a free game for Portugal, deciding where you want to go. I believe you have most of South America and West Africa to yourself, so kudos to you. And we have Castile, who successfully has gotten the Iberian wedding. Oh, he has made all of these trade companies. Personally, I would disagree with that. I mean, you don't really need the extra trade power from here, and the goods aren't very good. Trade companies are best used in one areas you need to increase trade power because you'll be pulling from them, and areas with very profitable goods because that increases the goods produced here. You see it's a lot of manpower goods, so I don't think you'll be getting good effects. The other thing probably could have done is fed a lot of this land to Aragon to save time on corn costs. Other thing, Castile's also gone full expansion, which in my mind is quite the dangerous thing to do, as you look to your neighbor to the north, France, who's should already be a good bit bigger than you. Yeah, I mean, that's your subjects. Yeah, you'll only be about 700-ish, 800 dev maybe when you finally press your button to integrate Aragon, and France is already there with, what, ideas? Oh, already quantity eco, so if France wants Castile dead, Castile dies at this point, I think. Unfortunately, Castile only allied to Portugal. I don't think that is enough to hold off France, so perhaps finding an ally on France's eastern border might assist you. Also, no advisors, which is odd to me. You want to definitely be running at least 111s, so I will say this this Castile, other than the perilous situation with France, is looking pretty good. Got the Queen Isabella, and has actually spent like pretty good into the ideas. Spain has very bad rulers to start, so it is not always easy to get off the ground for your ideas. As for colonialization, is into the Caribbean, soon to have that colony up. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. So you did take, yeah, as if you're going for Mexico, you definitely want to colonize this province or that province ASAP, so you can fabricate a claim on this province here and immediately get into Mexico and just start snaking for that gold income. Anything else I want to look at? Yeah, how are our estate set up? Yeah, everything is good. For those that don't know, you always want to get your free power points from your estates. Hasn't sold yet. That's a good bit of money you can use. Blah blah blah. Press those buttons whenever you can. Yeah, and only other thing I would think to say is also, like Portugal, you can probably send another colonist out, and it shouldn't affect your income, especially when you can have that much from selling your titles. Right, you do have a port to the New World in Seville, and boosting that trade power too. That's very good. Also, probably at some point want to start using these holy orders. Just, I mean, optimally, it's better later once you push the dev costs up. But I think it's so good for the boost. You look at this state; it's 5 provinces. For 50 mil points, you get 5 mil dev, where it's 50 there, 30 there, 60, 40. So it is quite a steep discount, and being that we don't have economic ideas, we're not going to be deving for cheap for quite a while. Yeah, other good thing, I believe, can finish up the Tunis node for yourself. I don't think you should trade company it. It's all like food provinces, so you don't benefit from trade companies there. Now, let's take a quick look at France, played by the one and only multiple times banned Waste. So, as for income, I think this is probably one of the highest in the game. He's sitting just at 70, so he is quite the rich boy. Diplomatically, he is, I guess, currently memeing about with Ottomans a little bit. Seems like it might be a bit of a one-sided war, if he can even get there, but he is marching over there. I believe Albania has an heir that is a Jagiellon, just like the French king. Also note the name of the heir. So we are fighting for the future of Albania, which, if I were Castile, this would be a huge sigh of relief, depending on how long this takes. As for other allies, working with the Dutch and the Milanese for now. Burgundy has not inherited yet. We've got about 4 more years until that event can fire, but I don't see anyone preventing him from acquiring the rest of this land. So this France looks quite strong, especially considering that he's already done his quantity and economic idea, so definitely far ahead of everyone else. Oh yeah, and he's up on time with Miltech and soon to be on Admatech. So yeah, this France is speeding away. I guess must have had some pretty good rulers. Got some nice advisors. Focusing Mill when you're filling out econ ideas, maybe, I don't know, maybe he just switched back. So it's possible, but very good king, advisor cost, aggressive expansion, still relevant being that there's a lot of AI around. So it's, I guess, very much in whether or not, or where this France wants to go, wants to do. I think if he is allowed to, he can very much just take over whatever parts of Iberia he wants. Castile, due to no mill ideas, is not likely to be able to put up a serious fight. He also can just go ahead, start eating into Savoy, which may upset his ally Milan, but I think his only real possible rival in the area is Austria, which is, I mean, not too far if you're counting this land, but from homelands to each other is definitely some distance. So I think it would be fairly easy for France to avoid Austria getting involved, unless Austria decides to try and curb French expansionism, of course. So I predict France is going to do quite well. He's managed his country well and is looking pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look at Holland and look at the English Isles. As you can see, they are looking far more Dutch than anything. I don't think it is particularly far-fetched to say that England is dead. For those that are not in this region or in Asia and were not able to see what happened, the first game England managed to have a bit of a difficult game. I don't know if there were mistakes or other issues, but he ended up having fighting 2 coalition wars at the same time, and basically at the same time as a war against Scotland, and the coalitions managed to land in England, and he basically just lost everything. So we can see all of the cores that England has lost to the Scots, who are a subject of the Netherlands, just beginning to be annexed. Maybe for the Dutch, depending on what you're trying to do, if you wanted to form Great Britain, which I think could be a very good idea, then perhaps you then don't annex the Scottish. It's still early enough that if you cancel it, because if you culture switch, form England, and then you form Great Britain, you already have Scotland vassalized, so you will instantly integrate them if you do so. So that would save you 500 and ish dip points. More if you give some more land to Scotland, like you can start feeding Scotland, bits of Ireland as well. But just make sure that, just double check that there isn't a province, what's it called? A province limit to making Scotland, because I know for Lithuania and Aragon, if they grow too big while they're under the PUs of Castile and Poland respectively, you cannot get the free integration, so that is something to watch out for. As for ideas, already done quantity and working our way through economic, so this is just on time, I think. Yeah, just go ahead, finish these ideas before, because that dev cost is going to boost, especially given that this is basically all grasslands and farmlands for pretty much free development. Income-wise, relatively low. Although all our income is coming from here. I wonder why that is. Like, yeah, I get, like, you still... yeah, I guess you don't have all the trade centers. You need Bruges, you need Antwerp, East Friesland as well, but that is currently owned by the Dithmarschanese. So, diplomatically, actually allied to all your neighbors except for England, who is, all intents and purposes, dead. I'm sorry, I'm not going to look at this nation. I wouldn't expect the England player to come back unless he has some diplomatic breakthrough. So, hopefully there are borders drawn with France and Dithmarschen. If you maintain those, you are pretty much safe and can take over Great Britain, take colonial ideas, and get North America before anyone else beats you to it. As for estates, we are missing our... Ooh, yeah, I'm not sure why Crown Land is so high. We don't need it so high, especially early on. Once you get absolutism, high Crown Land is good for that buff, but we definitely would like to, one, get our diplomatic point from our burghers, sell our Crown Land to both pay off our loans and build some more money buildings. Yeah, we haven't... Ooh, oh, yeah, okay, that is why we are low on income, because all our provinces are cloth, and we have monopolized cloth, so we definitely want to get rid of this as soon as possible. Monopolies can be useful early on, but they are best in provinces that you only have small amounts of those goods in. You have currently at least 4 in your home provinces, and yeah, more in England, so I think that hurts your income more overall than not, especially because since your income is low, if you get any money boosting events, that is based on your monthly or yearly income, so event money is reduced as well. So I think that might be something to try and fix as soon as you can. But let's move on to Dithmarschen, who is looking pretty. The Peasant Republic itself has expanded quite a bit into HRE lands, although I believe this is all relatively low dev wood, so not to say he's done a poor job, but it is, oh wow, why is this province so highly deved? But yeah, this land looks a little bit more impressive than it actually is, since it's all 6 dev or similar. As for income, we should be, a little bit less. No, I suppose that makes sense. Bremen is an ally, not a vassal. So, yeah. We don't have many of the trade centers here in Lubeck. Unfortunately, Sweden managed to grab Denmark proper with its ever-important sound toll, and is actually the leading power here. But once Dithmarschen, you're able to take over Bremen, Hamburg, and Lubeck. I think you should be able to have a majority share in here, and then you'll be beginning to make the money. HRE, doing okay on aggressive expansion. We did have, I guess, 4 players total within the German region, so nations have been starting to disappear faster, and as the as it's sped up, the faster you'll be able to move. The unfortunate thing is we look on the map and Dithmarschen is currently bordering 4 other players: Sweden to the north, Holland to the west, Nassau to his south, and Brandenburg to his east. So I think he is very soon to be cut off. Yeah, I think. And let's take a quick look at the rivals. So we are currently, all right. Nassau we have declared as our enemy, and Sweden has declared us as our enemy. So hopefully, if Marchen, you are able to find some way to triumph over. I think Nassau looks a little bit weak and might be the better, if slower path due to aggressive expansion for expansion. Sweden could actually be a good target if you have good relations with Brandenburg, although I could easily see these trade centers putting a bit of a strain on it. But should Dithmarschen and Brandenburg team up and against Sweden, Brandenburg taking the Baltic part and Dithmarschen taking rest of the Lubeck and potentially the North Sea, I think that would make sense. Also, Rhineland, very good land here, although it is unfortunately mostly woods. But good thing with Dithmarschen is that you have you have some very, very good missions to go down. You get this 15% morale mission, which should you you have it. You just have to start pirating some node somewhere, and you get that. But you get a morale mission, and then later on you get permanent goods produced, as well as, I mean, there's a lot of very good Dithmarschen missions to pop. Almost done are quantity eco ideas, and you do have very good mill ideas as well. So it's not quite Prussia or Sweden level, but I think it's enough to stand toe to toe, especially early. ICA, morale, shock damage received. So I think there is good room in your future. You also are Republic, so you're going to be able to have huge amounts of points and massive power projection as well, due to being a small nation. So I think Dithmarschen's in a decent, if somewhat precarious position, just because you're going to be quickly cut off. But yeah, still some room. Don't have to move into a player war immediately, but I think against Nassau you keep it to a 1v1. Just looking at his size and position, you should be stronger. So yeah, well, move to Nassau next. So 16 income, 30 force limit, and about 4 morale once you fix your prestige. I'm not really sure why our prestige is so low. Or was that from switching religion? It's switching religion. Didn't realize that Protestant has popped. And it's present in England. Yeah, England, Dithmarschen, and Sweden. So let's take a look at Nassau. No. Alright, so being that Dithmarschen and Nassau are likely enemies, take a quick look. Money-wise, Nassau actually quite a bit higher than I expected, even with Dithmarschen. As for military, okay, this is where there's a problem. Just 16 force limit, and morale is similar, but that's mainly due to the prestige difference. So once Dithmarschen fixes that, right. Yeah, we also have a diplomatic start, which for single player very much makes sense. Improved relations helps greatly with aggressive expansion. Province cost later, also for war cost, is quite good, but right now is probably not the bestest. Defensive ideas, actually, I don't hate. You get this 15% morale, very good for early wars. So, but the big thing is going to be the amount of troops. If Dithmarschen can just field twice as many troops as you, I think you're in trouble. However, you are allied to Brandenburg, and if you can work out something with Sweden as well, I think there definitely could be a division, just a three-way gank dividing Dithmarschen as well. That is certainly possible. Let's take a quick look. How is our coalition Oh, holy crap. You have basically no aggressive expansion, so very well done managing that. But I think you can probably prove to be a little bit more aggressive in your land. You're currently going to take Würzburg, so how does that look? Yeah, it's still unfortunate that there's so many AIs left, but we can start speeding it up since I think Austria will likely finish off these southern German states soon. But I'm actually like, what is Nassau's money so high? Trade. Oh, no, not quite sure. Take a quick look at our estates. Definitely want to sell those titles ASAP. I feel like, yeah, can probably go ahead add a few things for cheaper advisors. Military can this estate privilege when you can get army tradition is very, very good, as well as yeah, the increased levies for more manpower. I think you should 100% have that. Not running some advisors. We do have the money for that, so please run level 1 advisors as you can. What are the ideas for Nassau? You get ICA. Okay, you get trade. Yeah. The Merc maintenance is going to be big for whenever you fight. Just, yeah, I assume there has to be a fight between Dithmarschen and Nassau, just looking at the borders. And you're going to need to buy a lot of mercs for that war coming up. Do we have any vassals? Don't think we do. No. Oh, right. And just a quick overview of the HRE, or small thing, Nassau. We have only passed the one reform. Nassau made a bit of mistake, and perhaps 2 additional reforms could have been passed had Nassau not vassalized Mainz instead of annexing them. That kind of tanked imperial authority for a while. But I think, the first reform is the important one, dev cost, construction cost, while these other ones are a little bit less beneficial. However, Austria would quite like to get to number 4, if possible. So let's move on to the other HRE member. We have Brandenburg, who is, thanks to Poland not being, or being a little bit over generous, managed to get all of East Prussia, so we should have Prussia formation coming up whenever Tech 10 does. As for, unfortunately a little bit behind when it comes to ideas, not done. Opting for quality first, which I think when you've got the Prussia formation in the bag is probably a little bit less than optimal. You need that manpower. Definitely should look for economic ideas next, although innovative following up would not be the worst, since you'll have like some crazy amount of infantry combat ability should you do that, but that will severely hamper your economic rise. Money, doing okay. We are just collecting in the Saxony node and finishing it up. How do we stand on AE? A respectable amount. Yeah, not too many people can get involved. As for alliances, currently allied to Nassau, the Austria and the AI Poland. Also, not running any advisors. I think you have the money for it. You definitely should. Ooh, strict ruler, quite nice. But yeah, definitely run level 1 advisors as much as at the very minimum. Even if your income's like only 10, you should be able to afford it. It's worth going into a bit of debt for those extra points. Also losing some, or missing out on some good privileges. Yeah, this army tradition decay, but the big one is the general cost is very nice, along with the levies and supremacy of the crown, good for just boosting the loyalty and getting more called diets. Not sure why your crown land is so high. You should probably just sell on cooldown if you can. Just because, yeah, you don't have a lot of buildings done. You need those buildings to boost your income. Unfortunately, the thing with Eastern Europe is it's very, very poor. Brandenburg got some cloth, but the rest of your land's just naval supplies and cloth. So, as for things that could very well do, I think Brandenburg, if you could somehow secure this part of Lubeck without Sweden muscling in on your territory, I think that would be great for you. Lubeck is generally a pretty good node. It does have the problem of being just one next to the English Channel, but I think Lubeck would definitely solve quite a bit of your army issues. Another option would be to try to work with Dithmarschen and go north to Sweden. Consolidating the Baltic and collecting trade there is also quite good, especially if they potentially cut a deal with Muscovy to allow you to get the Baltic trade node. I think that is quite good. Maybe possibly working your way into Poland is also an idea, but I think you might have some you have problems doing that yourself, and I think whoever would help you defeat Poland would likely want the lion's share for their own. So, I think, yeah, overall, pretty good position. Can definitely consolidate the rest of Saxony, which is just a few more provinces, really. And then it's very much, where do you feel like going? You can continue west or north, or try and move southeast into Polish lands. So now we can move on to the Emperor himself, Austria, who is a little bit behind compared to some of the others on ideas. As for income, just barely keeping pace with France. I think it's 10 ducats down. Oh yeah, I got very good consort, so kind of hoping for a long consort regency if I can manage that. Diplomatically, currently allied to Brandenburg on paper, and I think I would be remiss if you see Austria does have some land in Italy, and there was a bit of a diplomatic incident in Italy, so there are two Italian players, Milan and Papal States. Milan was allied with France, Austria allied with the Papal States, and there was an agreement made between France and Austria that Milan and Papal States should be left to a one versus one, that there is no need for their allies to get involved and weaken themselves when they can just be settled between them. And what ended up happening is, after the Papal States was informed, because unfortunately it had been slightly weakened by circumstance, as for the first hour there was no France AI or no France player, so France AI set or to support independence of all the Papal States vassals, including Naples, and that war was painful. Austria did help offer him some help, but when Milan basically went for the one versus one immediately, And the Papal States, feeling betrayed by Austria, reached out to the Ottomans, who did try and help him, but was not quite ready. So France, seeing Ottomans in the war, joined, and the Papal States was quickly defeated. But due to rules, what was it? Milan was able to. So Papal States lost the war, but Milan took land that he was not allowed to, being that he had no claims on it. So all that land was returned, and the Pope is alive for now, and likely to be seeking help from the Ottomans for now, because I think Milan, yeah, like the big thing I think that hurt the Pope the most was not being able to integrate Naples in that time, because the timer gets reset, blah blah blah. It definitely has disadvantaged himself in this 1 versus 1 somewhat. But I think Ottomans currently fighting France over a silly thing, so perhaps they might want to further continue supporting the Pope against France's Italian friend. Meanwhile, Austria has been gone typical Austrian land. Oh yeah, and also part of the deal to enforce the 1 versus 1 was that Milan had to cede Venice, a few provinces in the Venice state, to Austria. So Austria is going to, finish expanding here, and then it is quite a few options. Can try and fight against the Ottomans, who are definitely weaker than they are supposed normally, or can move into Poland, who is also going to be quite a lot weaker than he normally is due to being AI for quite some time. And Poland division probably makes sense, being that there is a Muscovy who would quite like some Polish land, and there is an Ottomans who has vassalized Crimea, who has quite a lot of cores on Polish land. So Poland very well may fall prey to another partition. Good news for Austria. They are almost ready to begin integrating Bohemia, and then Hungary soon after, because I think they are far and away unlikely from. Does not seem. I don't think Austria will be able to get lucky and inherit any of his personal unions. That will have to be done the old-fashioned way. So let's go ahead, take a quick look at our Italians. So we have Milan, whose a diplomatic situation was briefly explained. As for cash, 25 income, which seems a little bit, about right for sharing your trade node with another player. As for ideas, has gone for the quantity eco start. And Milan, ideas, not the best for military, does have some ICA, and he is military dictatorship, so that 10 morale is going to more than make up for that. Quite low power projection. Not really sure why. We are we are still in the HRE, so yes, unfortunately, I believe any hope of taking more land for the time being is going to be doomed. So take a look at army size is 31 with just shy of 4 morale as well. A lot of Pope power. Probably want to use these things up, being that if this war with the Pope goes through again, then all of it, you can expect to be excommunicated and lose all of that. Also, might be a good time to go ahead and switch Protestant. You can't, unfortunately, get your the Center of Reformation. You have missed that boat. Trying to. Missing our point here. So probably want to get that when you can. You can just spend a few points to go ahead and dev back to over 10. But 10 is okay. It's not great, but it is below 10 is where you get a little bit of danger. But yeah, I think Milan is in a fine and dandy spot as long as France continues to support you. And your next war with the Papal States, well, let's take a look. So we see the Pope, a little bit less income, actually higher morale, even with prestige really low. Huh. But less force limit, unfortunately, but I think a lot of that is due to not having Naples integrate. So, what is the peace? Okay, so this is going to be done just in time or just after July. Wait, 1503. Okay, this is 1 year after, so definitely go ahead, sell some titles for increased cash, because this is going to be a death war, so we definitely want to make sure that we have things to boost us, like Defender of the Faith for extra morale. You can maybe... Ooh, a cheap discipline advisor, that's good. Can probably try and hire him, promote him to 3, and hope to fire the event. Oh, he is 41, so that is a little bit risky. He can just die in a year or two. As for our ideas, oh yes. See, this is what I was wondering if you'd get if we... Excuse me. So with Divine Ideas, you would get your leader cost, and you do have nobility and officer corps. So our generals are very, very, very cheap. Yeah. They're very, very cheap. We're... Aha. And we can get it. You can get another... Oh, no. Is it different? Okay, I think it's monarchies where you can write. Okay, so he'll just be... Yeah, there will be half-cost generals, which is going to be very good for manpower. But yeah, not as poor of a position as I once thought. Currently going to be taking this land in Florence, but how does that do for coalition? Oh, just fine. Just fine. And can maybe even vassalize Mantua? That might not make the most sense. But yeah, getting this hill fort I think is going to be key. You could also try to opt to start the war yourself and put the war goal on Siena, and you get an easy war goal behind a hill fort, which covers basically all of... although probably need another hill fort here on Urbino. That would be good. And you get a nice fort line over the width of Italy. So I think actually looking to be in quite a bit better spot than I thought. Let's want to see what your force limit is with Naples. Okay, it's not updating, but it went up by a good bit. So I think with Naples integrated, this is actually going to be quite even. Because, although, yeah, the big thing is going to be I guess Milan has a little bit of ICA on their side, but the Pope will have a lot of manpower and Pope actions, like excommunicating Milan should they stay Christian or Catholic is going to be good. That's going to be a massive prestige hit. we definitely need to try and find ways to increase our prestige, maybe our power protection as well. That goes for Milan as well. Yeah, probably not worth it to try and just do a humiliate war on Savoy. But I think, yeah, Pope is in a much better position than he originally thought. So let's go ahead and move north to our Swedish friends, who's doing pretty well. I think he's gotten a little bit more than I thought he would, although Muscovy recruiting troops on the border might make you nervous, but I think that's fine. Now, the all-important thing is how Swedish income, holy. Yo, that's pretty good. That is a lot better than I thought it would be. So yeah, collecting in the Baltic and Lubeck. So I think Sweden definitely doing well and benefiting from Poland being slow to grab this area or just being a little bit overly generous and AFK. As for ideas, yeah, went for quality eco. I guess it's very good if you're looking to fight quickly, since you get that extra discipline immediately. But I think losing on the manpower and the force limit might be more important. Doing some management of Crown Land. How's our autonomy? Yeah, probably need to hit this button a few times. I think you can deal with fighting some rebels, or is some of it uncored? No, I mean, overall, I think this Sweden is quite nice. You've already converted to Protestant. Perhaps you could have begged for an Orthodox province from Muscovy just to convert yourself, but Russia making a Orthodox Sweden is a little bit scary. What else can we do? Yeah, unfortunately, Sweden doesn't have very many good missions, but completely isolated on alliances for now, which a little bit interesting. Well, Sweden's position, especially when he still has some land to eat up in Norway, is quite enviable. He has relatively few exposed borders. I mean, as Muscovy is his big problem, he probably, I mean, if he can somehow get Lubeck plus Baltic, that would be his dream. Completely encircle the Baltic in Swedish land. I think he's in a very good position to do it. He's stronger than all of these small HRE guys. His force limit is, Jesus, yeah, it's 44. Huh. Yeah, no, I think this Sweden's done very, very well for himself. I know. Oh, yeah, probably don't want to fight a war with the Craven King. Yeah, that's a little bit rough, unfortunately. But yeah, with no manpower, probably not looking to start anything, and especially now that you're converting. So I'd probably say 10-15 years once you're all converted, manpower is up. We're probably going to be looking at a Sweden trying to move in on Dithmarschen or Brandenburg, possibly trying to fight a Muscovy. But I definitely think this land is more attractive for Sweden. So let's go ahead, take a look at our Russian player, right? It's NOS. Muscovy, big bank. How's our money? Quite good. Stronger than Sweden by a good bit. So, well done to you. He has had a pretty free game. Finished quantity and eco. That's also very good for a Muscovy player. Just a lot of land to core. I guess you've done a lot of vassal feeding. Astrakhan's our vassal. Yep. Gotten our gold mine finally. Oh, it's just starting to dev it up. Oh yeah, that's a big force limit. So yeah, I think, yeah, Muscovy with no Poland there for the previous session, is gone a bit of a free game. Sweden is definitely not strong enough to mess with Muscovy by himself, so all of this region has been consolidated, which is a huge, a metric butt ton of dev. And we do have a Timurids player to our other side, but I don't think they're going to be particularly not necessarily relevant. I don't think they'll be able to stop or be interested in fighting Muscovy. So I think very, very good position. Oh, wait, we have. Why do we have a lot of unstated land? I guess it's just. Okay. Yeah, I suppose this was just because we wanted to finish our eco ideas, which is, of course, fine. Wait a second. Oh, no, I think you just forgot because you integrated the vassals, so yeah, definitely want to do that. So yeah, that'll shoot your money up even more. Jesus. Yeah, this Muscovy's pretty scary. Sell land, build stuff. Got your estates working for you, so yeah, no, Muscovy's looking in a great spot. Now we'll go ahead and start moving to the Middle East. We've got the Ottoman Turks, who are about to be visited by about 80,000 mustached Frenchmen here. So a little overview of what has happened in the region. Ottomans allied with Karakoyunlu. There was a very long and, depending on who you want to listen to, costly war for where Ottomans supported QQ against Timurids and the Mamluks. As we can see, it was a victory for the Ottomans and QQ alliance. Mamluks, I think, got focused down fairly quickly, being that there was no shared border between Timurids and Mamluks, so QQ just let Timurids sit on mountain forts while Mamluks had to fight a 2 versus 1, was unable to do that effectively, bankrupted, and is now very much dead. So we have the Ottomans, who has opted for a bit of an unorthodox approach for ideas, going offensive first and innovative. That is to go for crazy, crazy Ottoman sieges. But Age of Discovery is ending in just 10 years, so that will go away fairly soon. Money-wise, Ottomans on par with, yeah, the big powers, although I guess on par for Ottomans is generally not good, being that they should be a good bit ahead. I guess they're slightly less than France, slightly more than Austria and Muscovy. As for army size, 100, so yeah, on par there, but we're going to be doing some lacking in morale, unfortunately. Also missing our dip point here, and probably some privileges that could be enacted, but I mean, overall, they're still good. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with this war, how hard France wants to commit. Because, yeah, I think Ottomans can easily defend his borders, although he has no troops in the area, so this could be costly for France and Ottomans both. About to finish annexing Georgia. Definitely look to be going for Crimea itself with a event march, and going to be wanting to finish up Alexandria to get all that juicy money. So I don't think there is really that much to say for Ottomans. They're strong as always. Oh, yeah, no, actually all our army is here, so they will be ready to deal with the French shortly. Oh, why do we have so little war score? I don't know. what? But yeah, I don't think, not too much to say for autos. Like, I think at this point they can just continue focusing on AI. Alexandria maybe even move into Egypt if we don't get a new player there and achieve basic Ottoman borders. There is potential to try and get more involved into, I guess, Eastern Europe, but probably I don't know, maybe better served by, what's it called? By trying to curb Russian expansion in the east. They got a bit of a free game so far, or we can potentially backstab our alliance QQ, and as they should be quite a lot weaker than the Ottomans at the moment, and acquire Basra and Persian lands. But the good thing for Ottomans is you are very much in the middle of things, so you can go in any direction. Bad thing is you are surrounded by players and they can decide to gank you if they so wish. So let's continue moving east. Take a look at QQ. So QQ did fight what I guess we thought was a death war, but doesn't seem to have actually killed the Timurids too much. Has lost quite a lot of land, so I think it was caused by squabbling over Ajam, and what someone, either QQ or Timurids, opted to vassalize them, and that started the war. So I believe, yeah, we will be able to form Persia as soon as we can, or as soon as we finish our government reforms, I believe. Yeah, okay, shouldn't be too long, maybe 30, 40 years or so, although we definitely need to reduce our autonomy to speed that up. Oh, okay, because of war we can't, but yeah, as soon as you're out of war, you can hit this button a lot. It's going to boost your income, which I suspect to be not too great. Yeah, 30 at the middling powers level. Do have a sizable share of Persian node for now. That is great, along with Basra itself, which is not too shabby of a node. I guess this is going to be your heartland, being that this is all deserts and arid, and you have some farmlands here. So yeah, QQ likely. I mean, I can only assume this wars with the Timurids will continue until you get the rest of Persia, and potentially Hormuz. And Timurid, we can see, is trying to migrate eastwards. How successful that will be is anyone else's guess. Although, we are very far behind in tech. And I see that's because we have still not managed to embrace Renaissance. Ooh, Timurids got it before we did. I mean, good thing is that you do have the Demi. Okay, definitely try and find ways to boost their influence a little bit, because you can make this 10%. And if you do that 10% and you are opted for piety, definitely try and go for a bit of legalism. Just for that tech cost, you need to catch up. And I think, yeah, that might do you, is having no ideas and behind on tech. Do we have any vassals? Yeah, we do have some vassals. And maybe look for a vassal to start feeding Hormuzi lands. Yeah, and Hormuz itself is usually a good vassal, so you can get that. I think, yeah, a little bit precarious, but as long as Ottomans support you, I think you are safe from any real danger. So let's take a look at the Timurids on the unfortunate losing end of the war. But definitely not out, being that there is quite a lot of free land to go into on the steppes, and we're currently fighting Chagatai, which is going to be great. In here there is a gold mine that we should definitely try and grab if possible. How are we doing? Oh yeah, we are far ahead of QQ in tech, so ideas we are finishing our light years ahead. Not just sure if that was bankruptcy or not. Income doing okay considering that you're kind of spread out between 4 nodes and all. But I think this nation has recovered from that war quite well. And let's just take a quick look at Army 50 versus 4 morale once you get your prestige up compared to QQ's 43 and also 4 or so. That's even with mysticism. So I think between the two of them I actually like Timurid's position more. And Timurid's probably has a little bit more development, but what QQ has that Timurid's doesn't is allies. Timmy, no relations with the 3 Indian players. I believe we have Balmanis, a Bengal, and a Delhi. And I definitely think that Delhi would be interested, or could be persuaded by QQ to fight him or fight you with him. And I don't really know how you could I don't know, perhaps befriending Balmanis or Bengal to divide up Delhi between yourselves. I guess the problem with Timmy is that you're not going to have any good devable land. So, getting this bit here that's in the Lahore node would be fantastic. Or you can just opt move into empty territory into the steppes and revert to your roots of being a horde. So definitely not doomed. Still a bit of a difficult position, but fighting the good fight. So we have 3 Indians, as just mentioned, Delhi, Balmanis, and Bengal. Delhi has opted to go for offensive and economic, a little bit unorthodox, but offensive are okay, but I definitely feel like quality or quantity are much better. Even defensive can be better, but nothing's particularly wrong with offensive. You get some better generals, more force limit, and the discipline is the main selling point. As for our income, quite well, 54, and an army size of 50. So, on par with the middling powers. Definitely doing... Oh, it still has some more cores from Jaunpur. Allied with all the other Indians, which is... India is definitely big enough that you can split it 3 ways for now, perhaps 2 ways long term. So I'm curious what the border agreements are. Bengal has gotten a bit of Doab, but it may be that Delhi is given the rest. However, you do have lands in Gujarat down here, and that's vassal Balmanis, huh? So I think Delhi, definitely Doab is better for you. If you go Long Boy along the Ganges River like that, I think this is the best development and best fighting land, because this is all grasslands, farmlands, and what little manpower grain there is kind of in that area. So that is, definitely makes sense. Probably what we should do going forward. Sikhism has not spawned. You definitely should go Sikh as soon as you can. But can you farm Punjab? Okay, this is what you need to do immediately. I think you need to make Punjabi your main culture. You can do that by destating non-Punjabi lands or target deving your Punjabi provinces. And once you do that, you'll be able to form Punjab itself, which is a very, very strong nation. I mean, Delhi is fine to start. You have some pretty decent missions that give you lots of claims. You get lots of cores. But your, I don't know, ideas overall are pretty meh. Like Cav, Diplo Rep, Unrest. Coring cost is fine, but you have no morale, you have no discipline, you have no manpower, and Punjab gives you basically all of those things. So I think if you stay with Delhi ideas, you might be the most attractive Indian to carve up later. So let's move south to the Balmanis. How are we doing? A lot of money in the bank. Gone for quantity and Diplo. Yeah, I mean, I can see the argument for diplomatic ideas in HRE. I mean, it's good in single player, but in India, you definitely don't need this. I think this is just, unfortunately, a bit of a waste of points. You can probably try and take a quick look at your states a bit more. Definitely be selling whenever you can. I mean, you can avoid that by just calling the diet first, because I'm an idiot. Money-wise, a little bit less than Delhi, and quite a lot larger force limit. Yeah, unfortunately, for you, I mean, what you probably should have done, Balmanis, is blitzed a little bit more for the, I guess, this area. With all of these trade centers in Coromandel, this is where the money is. I mean, the thing with northern India has the good land for deving. Southern India, in Deccan and specifically Coromandel, has all the money. Like, you look at all these trade goods, it's like all cloth, all cotton, a lot of gems, a lot of spices. So, I mean, nothing's necessarily wrong with what you've done, I think, but I think you prioritized going into Gujarat a little bit more than you should have, but that is fine. I mean, you're still in a fantastic spot, although I guess you're... Why can't we make this a state? Oh, because we're calling things. Okay. Yeah, well, the good thing for, I guess, going diplomatic ideas is you have lots of points to continue to core land. Yeah, probably if you can, maybe try and get your power projection up just to get them good free monarch points. And we are Shia as well, which is fine, but might also want to think about going Sikh when that happens, or flipping to Hindu. I mean, both I think are a little bit better than Muslim religions overall, but Balmanis, I think, just looking on the map, just because with the amount of free land you have, is looking to be the strongest out of the Indians going forward. But let's save that judgment until we take a quick look at Bengal. Money-wise, a little bit lower than everyone else, although making huge amounts of it. Very strong force limit. And that is, yeah, with the quantity eco ideas. So, being that you've opted for, I guess, the meta / most optimal picks, I think you're going to be, long term, could be in a very good position. Looks like you're trying to finish up Burma. Not really sure, but yeah, I guess finishing their eco ideas, you don't want to annex things too much. We could probably get some vassals. Anyone good with a lot of reconquest? Not particularly, unfortunately. Big thing that I do notice is that you've got all of the Nepali lands. So are we Nepali culture? Oh, we are Nepali culture. So that is probably why we haven't expanded much. So that is going to be quite big. Oh yeah, so you're just waiting on it because I mean, you go Nepal, you have amazing ideas, but you got all these great missions as well. Particularly uh, this one, if you can get that before you form Nepal. That would require you probably being friendly at least with Ayutthaya, so that he doesn't move into this land. But I mean, yeah, you can go real big. There's dev cost in here and blah 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 blah. Good stuff. Oh yeah, definitely not using our estates completely optimally. And I mean, overall, everything's great for Bengal. I think you're in a good spot. You've got Nepal formation whenever you like. You're making buckets of ducats. So yeah, like huge amount of money in the bank. Oh, and yeah, just you can boost your money hitting this button a whole bunch. I mean, I think yeah, Bengal's in a fantastic spot. So well done to them. So I think we are almost done. We're going to move on to Ayutthaya, who I believe at one point had to fight off a player Lanzhang, and successfully did, and is now busy cannibalizing their corpse. Ayutthaya missions are absurd, as we can see. Yep, vassal, 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 vassal. What is this war? War of Ayutthayan aggression. Uh-oh. I think that must have been a mistake. I'm not sure why this is a no CB on a 6 dev OPM. But I guess the good news is you'll have lots of land to return to Dai Viet and Vientiane and Luang Prabang. So, but are they? They are a co-belligerent. Okay. Not quite sure what happened there, but I'm sure all is fine and dandy. Very interesting idea choice. I can see the influence ideas for the diplomatic annexation, but I don't really know how much like these two together will give you. I mean, yeah, I guess you're just going for the super annexation speed. But, I mean, overall, I don't know if that's going to be worth it. Like, it's definitely leaving you vulnerable, albeit you don't really have any threats for now, but Bengal will be scary, and I think he'll be scary before you can switch over your ideas. I know it takes quite a while to get crazy good Siam ideas. For now, you're kind of stuck with not exciting Ayutthayan ideas. You do have some pretty balls for the walls amazing missions. Well, maybe not want to use that on Lanzhang since they're going to hate you forever. But I mean, yeah, this the new patch has completely like redone this whole Southeastern Asia islands area, so I don't know exactly what is super optimal, but this region is now fantastic. Like, if you look, a lot of grain, a lot of other good items like ivory, tropical wood gets pretty decent later. You got some silk as well, and Chinaware is pretty big too. Pegu is, yes, our vassal. Right, because that was added to Burma. So I guess the big thing is, are you going to let Bengal come into the rest of Burma, or is you going to consider that yours? I think you can probably be generous with Bengal. You can get all of Canton yourself, and I mean that land's not super great, but it's also not bad either. So I think Ayutthaya can be very, very scary, very, very quick. Like, especially once you get all your vassals integrated. What? Let's see. Oh. I would think that your vassals would be a lot higher dev than they are. I don't know, maybe I'm just wrong, but if they're only 200 dev, then we're not into super crazy territory. But yeah, this area is easily 800 to 1,000 dev once you consolidate it and dev up, so you're going to be looking quite good. Now, I think this is our last player. We have Malak. Whoa, holy, what is going on with that money in the bank, bro? 32 income and 32, 52, making 32. Like, start getting some level 3 advisors, man. Don't really know why you're sitting on that. Expansion quantity. I can understand expansion. I'd actually probably agree with just to get the 2 colonists. Well, there's a little bit less land to colonize now since they've added some more nations on Brunei. So, I mean, not as great as it was before, but still very good as taking over everything. So yeah, look at that spice money. 26 ducats just from trade, and we don't even have all of it. So, I think, yeah, but definitely this money, need to spend it, man. Why haven't you built any workshops? More money. Build some barracks, more manpower. Build some, yeah, you can get, yes, you can even build 4 cement buildings. I don't really know, like, you don't have to start saving money for workshops because you don't have any that you can, I guess, some copper mine, some iron, but it's all spice later, and that's tech 14. So, spend that money when you can. Also, it's too late, but probably I would have suggested quality. Just, I mean, if you're planning on staying friendly with Ayutthaya, there's no real need to have an army to fight them on land. You just have a navy, and quality is definitely the best idea for navy. Although I guess if you're going eco next, which I think would make sense, then I can understand the quantity pick first. That being said, you should definitely start looking at taking some more vassals and feeding them land instead. How many do we have? Okay, we already have quite a lot. Alright. Almost done integrating one of them. But yeah, probably make one of these guys in Brunei a vassal, and start feeding all of that land to it. Oh, you do already have this too. That's good. Yeah, no, I think Malacca, great spot. Also kind of a free AI game. You could also try and go to, take over Japan. If you work with Siam, you can also make a trade deal. Siam gets Canton Chengdu, you get Hangzhou, Japan, put everything in Malacca itself, and just be rich. So, I think we have a very strong Malacca this game. So, unless I am mistaken, that does it for every player and nation in this game. So, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.